This is how to become a movement master with monk level strength, skill, and sustainability. So why that much? Simple, because it provides at the one end of the spectrum a buffer for daily life, aka you're injury resistant. And at the other end, you have powerful freedom of movement. Now, I refer to this as body mastery, and there are 10 key components, but we'll focus on 3 critical ones here. The first is flexibility, and without this, you can be as strong as you want, but those ranges of motion that are still locked up tighter than a steel drum are injury zones. One of the most important areas of flexibility are your splits. Why splits? Because your legs are supposed to whip, kick and strike like bamboo, jump and spring like a kangaroo, and vault, dash, and roll with agility, not frailty. A split can even go airborne, as seen in a butterfly kick or an aerial. So get down and test those out right now, all directions. The knees should be locked. The legs should go in pretty much a straight line. Sometimes it's for pulsing reps, sometimes it's 5-minute holds. It'll vary depending on what we're training, how much time there is, and what level the student is at. And there are a number of other crucial areas of flexibility, which is part of both warm-up and end of training for all students, face-to-face and online at Pacific Rim Athletics. And it should be part of yours too, just like Alex here, or Patrick, 60 plus, an attorney who's crushing it. And the second is strength, because you can be as flexible as a yogi, but without strength, you're gonna fall apart. You're gonna have hypermobility issues that sneak up on you and cause problems. There are literally thousands of progression moves for strength, so I can't list them all here, but these build all the way up to superhuman strength that fortifies you for all of life. But 3 of the most important absolute beginner moves are these. The hollow hold is one of the basics for core, and although technically a strength move, it'll actually test the flexibility of your shoulders because your arm should be on your ears, and your lower back because it should be able to tilt into posterior pelvic tilt through the contraction of your transverse abdominis, which is atrophied in most people. Check and see if you have a gap between your lower back and the floor. That gap should not be there. And by the way, you should be able to hold this for 1-minute holds at the very least. This hollow hold is found in so many athletic movements, it'd be impossible to say them all. From a back handspring to a biomechanically correct boxer's punch to a high dive, and just having a good solid core. And a way to build up to this is having knees bent with clean form, and as you get stronger, you're extending your body and decreasing the leverage that you have, which forces adaptation of greater strength. There is the horse stance, foundational to martial arts for thousands of years and a staple of our Powerbatics training that we use. The horse stance is not just a static position. Now granted, unless you can do 2 minutes of a horse stance, you have no business loading up weights. But this is also a landing position, a transition move inside of the katas that we do, and a position for daily life. Now the third move is the frog stand, which I can't stress enough. This and the horse stance are 2 moves we actually use for the assessment of new students. And you should be able to hold this for at least an easy minute before any other kind of handstand training. By the way, real strength is more mental than physical, as your nervous system is responsible. And if your stress thresholds or pain tolerance are low, it doesn't matter how many sets and reps that you do, you won't get any stronger. And I'll go into more detail in future videos, but for today, just know that brutal static holds are necessary. And handstand training from all angles is really a portal to your maximum monk-like movement, like you see at all these retreats that we host, which compounds into so many other more advanced strength and skill I don't have time to get into in this video. Now then, the third component of body mastery, which will help you gain monk level movement, is mobility. But hear me now when I say this. The mobility that you're probably thinking of is not the mobility to which I'm referring. It has become a trendy topic and has become quite bastardized through online courses. Here's what mobility actually is. Whereas flexibility is the range of motion into which you put yourself, true mobility is strength applied to that range of motion. And this is even a very simplistic expression of it, because you must also take into consideration speed and force. Thus, it's a quite nebulous term that has dynamic implications. One way to train mobility specifically is through a well-documented method of flexibility training, which is static active stretching. An example is the leg iron cross. And no matter what height your split is currently at, the inward force of Contracting the muscles applied to the pull of the stretch is what makes it active through the static stretch. Another is dynamic stretching. A kick is an example of this, dynamically using the momentum to swing the leg into a maximal stretch position. Keep in mind, dynamic stretching is not for the raw beginner, or you're gonna hurt yourself. Now here's where all this comes together. These are not, I repeat, not intended to be trained in isolated, segmented routines, or necessarily as sets and reps. The ultimate goal is to blend all of this and much, much more into masterful movement that's monk level, but totally achievable for you. An example is a small portion of a kata like this. And there's 7 other components of body mastery that we'll get into. So see you in the next video and in training.